As I was learning how to walk, speak, and try to use a small plastic toilet, one of the most influential first-person shooters was released to the public. Fast forward to 4th grade, and after working on our volcano project, my best friend at the time boots up Half-Life on his dad's work computer, and we take turns playing where after each death, we would hand over the mouse with that little ball in it. You see, this might not be a big deal for some of you, but I was only allowed to play Lego Island, The Lion King, and those cereal box discs, and his parents let him play Doom, Tomb Raider, and Duke Nukem. It's not fair. It's not fair. A couple years ago, I replayed Half-Life as an adult, and after experiencing modern video games for over 2 decades, I can still understand why Half-Life is such a classic. I mean, come on, you had cutscenes that didn't take you out of the action, you had some perfectly set pieces around the map in order to help with world building, the janky old gold source engine with the slippery movement, the weird creatures, and a good story with a rich backstory that keeps the player asking a lot more questions as it goes on. In my opinion, the DLCs weren't needed because the standalone game itself was great as it is. But I'm not gonna lie here, the DLCs are very appreciated because you get to explore the original story from different perspectives, and each playthrough becomes a testimony and a sort of puzzle piece, and when you put all 3 perspectives together, it makes a much more comprehensive story. In my opinion, the best execution of this concept in the film industry is Pulp Fiction and Once Upon a Time in America. I made the cardinal sin of playing Blue Shift before opposing forces, but you can't blame me for being more interested in role-playing as Barney than a random US Marine. Just like the original Half-Life game, you arrive to work on a tram and holy shit! Is that Gordon on another tram? As you're going down an elevator, Gordon's experiment goes wrong and all the aliens teleport everywhere in the Black Mesa facility, so you find a bunch of scientists that ask you to find Dr. Rosenberg. Now, I don't know who this Dr. Rosenberg is, but apparently he's gonna fix everything if you find him. So you kill a bunch of aliens, find Dr. Rosenberg in a shipping container, and he tells you that the only way out of the facility is to use a prototype teleporter that can teleport us out of the Black Mesa facility because the aliens are unstoppable and the army is killing everyone inside the facility to cover up Gordon's experiment going wrong. Once you find the teleporter, you get sent to Zen to route the coordinates from there, and once that's done, Simmons, Bennett, Rosenberg, and yourself teleport out of the facility, and then you drive off into the sunset in the New Mexico desert. Opposing Force DLC starts you off in a chopper, and right off the gate, we get hit with a yo mama joke.
Where the hell are we anyway? Well, the pilot thought we were heading to your mother's house. So far, this all looks familiar.
Also, a little bit of a side note before I get into the story, I wanted to check out if there was a multiplayer for this DLC, and I actually got into a game and played deathmatch against actual human players, which is crazy to me because it's a 20-year-old DLC that still has an active community. So in this DLC, you're being sent up to clean up Gordon's mess, and you're tasked to kill aliens and every human survivor in the facility. After only a couple of minutes in the base, you hear the general on the radio telling all of his troops to evacuate just because the aliens are way too overwhelming to handle. You go to the evacuation zone, but the G-Man absolutely cock-blocks you from escaping, and you fight your way through biodomes of Zen creatures, which was a shock to me because in the original Half-Life game, I thought Gordon's teleport mistake was the first time scientists saw all of these aliens, but here it shows that they've already been studying them for a very long time. You get to the final boss fight, kill the final alien, go through his teleportussy, and meet the G-Man, and he tells you that he sees himself in you, and because we've been a witness to the Zen outbreak, he banishes you to a black void, which is, I don't know, it's a kind of a weird ending. Now, if you've never played any of the DLCs, I'm sure you're asking yourself, were the DLCs fun and should I play them? Yes. Is the movement and the physics prop puzzles just as enjoyable as the original game? Also yes. Are there hilarious, over-the-top death sequences in both DLCs? Yes.
No! I don't want to die!
And are there any new enemies and new weapons that you can use that make the gameplay loop fresh and exciting? Also yes. Thank you for watching today's video. If you haven't played the DLCs, I'd urge you to play it. Honestly, they're just a couple bucks and they give you over 7 to 8 hours of gameplay. So the cost per hour is just amazing in my opinion. And then as well, on last week's video, you guys put a lot of very nice comments. So instead of glazing this week, I want to maybe ask a question to you guys. So for me, I watched one of my favorite movies for the first time. It's already in my top 5 movies of all time, and it's American Gangster with Denzel in it, and it's very good. So I'm gonna be like Ray William Johnson. Tell me what's your favorite movie, and also tell me what's the most recent movie you've watched. The most recent movie I watched was The Whale. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. But okay, so I mean, we're gonna start doing this now. This is the tradition. So I'm gonna ask a question every week, and I expect answers in the comments. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. All right, bye.